Stand by. This is Business Connections Live, the UK's leading online business channel for SMEs, business owners, and entrepreneurs. Streaming live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. The live show is made possible by our sponsor, Restream, the easy way to stream to multiple social platforms at the same time. Restream Studio makes it simple to go live directly from your browser. Get started now at businessconnectionslive.com/Restream. And now, here's Steve Hyland. Hello there, welcome along. It is Business Connections Live. We're live here on a Monday. Great to have your company as always. And we've got an absolutely cracking program lined up for you today. It's going to be a real goodie. You sometimes listen to me rattling on about the way people write things, the words they use, the way they position their organizations, the way they position themselves and the services that they promote and they sell. I've rattled on about that a lot. We all do it. We're all in business together. But how do you actually get down to the crux of the matter? How do you make certain that the message that you're getting out is going to be the right message to promote and market your business successfully so that at the end of the day, you can make an honest bob to live on? How do you go about doing that? How do you have an utterly seductive proposal about your business? My guest on today's show, you're going to really enjoy. His name is Tim Coe. Tim, great to have you with us on the program today. Really looking forward to the show. Tim, before we even get into what we're going to be talking about, for those people that know nothing about who Tim Coe is, I mean, you are a marketeer, aren't you? Tell us a little bit about your business and what you're all about.
Okay, Steve, thank you. Well, great to be here. I've watched the show many times and thought that's the pinnacle, but today I'm there. I've been in business 34 years, and every business I've had, I've considered it a marketing business because to me, it's the most fun aspect of business and the most important, because if you can't get attention for your product, no matter how good it is, no matter how innovative it is, or no matter how much time or money it saves for anybody, if no one knows about it, it might as well not even exist. So marketing and the words that you use, what you say, how you say it, I think are vital. Things like fonts, colors, photographs, videos, just imagery, branding, all that type of thing, I find fascinating. And what makes somebody say yes or no to buying something, I find really interesting. Always been interested in TV ads.
Do you think a lot of people get it wrong when it comes to the imagery that they present to their public? For instance, the website, for instance, sometimes just can really get lost, can't it? Because people either get lost in the technology behind the website, or they get lost in the words and they write the website all about themselves. I mean, what's your immediate advice to them?
The thing about websites is they generally are made by one person. A web developer, but really they should be designed by a designer, written by a copywriter, coded by a coder, then branded by a brander maybe as well. Logos, imagery, fonts, colors, things like that. I mean, that crosses over with design, but the copywriting gets away from the we do this, we do that, we are established, stuff that no one really cares about. And the copywriter should get right down to, which is similar to what I get down to, why should anybody buy from you? Why should I give you my money? What difference are you going to make to me? So the headline, everybody should have a headline on their website that sums up their business, really, which is what their utterly seductive proposal is. So with my clients, when we work together and we create an utterly seductive proposal, one of the first things I say is that should go straight at the top of your website. People shouldn't have to search for where the value is and what you do. It should be there to hit them in the face as soon as they arrive.
Well, it amazes me there are so many websites at the moment still don't even have phone numbers on them. You've got to go looking for a phone number to contact them. And then you may find a form that you fill in, but you still can't have a phone number. You can't pick it up and go, do you know what, I'm really interested in your service. They want you to fill a form in, and then the form will be sent to them. And I can see why they're doing it. They're doing it to hello? Hello, you're through. By the way, here's one. This is one of your clients, I understand. You work very closely with Antonio Falco, the sales director, and a bit of an endorsement there coming from Antonio, which is good. He says, "Looking good, Tim." Or does he mean looking good time? But no, he's looking good, Tim. So there we go. Listen, if you have a question anyway through the program today and you want to put it to Tim, then please just go onto LinkedIn, YouTube, or wherever you are. We're going to be sharing the comments across all the different platforms. You can ask a question. Maybe you've got a marketing issue at the moment and we'll really put him under pressure. Then just, put your message out there. Come on, bring it on, bring it on. Tim, you're the author of The Utterly Seductive Proposal, this fabulous book here. And I surprised you because I actually have read some. I've read half of it, didn't have a chance to finish all of it. It's a snap. It's a book of common sense, I felt. And what worried me when I was reading it is why more people don't do what's written in this book, why we seem to inevitably reinvent the wheel on an ongoing basis and get the wheel wrong. We are all making square wheels over and over again. Why do you think that's the case?
It's a very good question. And I think by default, we start talking about our businesses in the same way as each other all the time. You go to networking events, this is the biggest example I can think of how people, unless they make an effort to decide on what they're going to say, they revert to this sort of business speak and stand up and say, my name is Tim Coe and I do this and I do that and we do this and we do that. Our product is a XYZ. No one takes the time to look at their business how the world sees them or how clients see them. And really, your marketing needs to be written from a perspective of how it's going to solve a problem for somebody on the outside, somebody that's looking at your business. But you're on the inside looking out, so you say, we do this, we do that. I think the reason nobody has an utterly seductive proposal, not nobody, most people don't take the time to sit down and think about it. It's not, anything of value takes time. So to create something that makes your business sound unique and of higher value than your competitors, it's going to take a bit of time, but it's worth it because your business, should be for life.
When you talk to your clients, do you find yourself saying that to them on a regular basis? Is that the first piece of advice that you're giving them? Look, step back for a moment, look at what your business is all about, and really think of the big headline around your business. Is that what you're saying to them?
Yes, I quite often look at their existing marketing and tell them what I think of it. I tell them that this makes me think this, that makes me think that. You don't want to be putting that message out there, I would assume. At the moment, I can't see anything of value to me. I can't see any problem-solving products here. I can't see anything easy. I can't see an easy way to do business with you. I can't see an easy way to refer you. The referral is a brilliant way to look at this. How do you want me to refer you? How do you want me to remember you and speak about you? That's a real good question. Most people think, okay, I don't want you to go and say this. No, well, you make it easy for me to refer you, and I will. So if people could come up with a 15 or 20 word phrase or just something that they can be remembered for, it can be fun. The more fun it is, sometimes the better. It's not always appropriate. If you're a lawyer, divorce lawyer, having something funny is not necessarily appropriate. But for most businesses, it is. And if you can find a gimmick sometimes, just to differentiate, that can be enough.
Antonio, back up, because I know you and Antonio work quite closely together. He's come back and said that people won't change the way they think. Tim is right that people just want to advertise themselves rather than take a 180-degree reverse view of their business. He then goes on to say, I think he's agreeing with you here. Oh, no, this one here, that'll do. Yes, Tim tells him what he thinks in no uncertain terms, but that is what I want because you're working with him to actually help him. I think that's really important, isn't it? There are a lot of yes people out there, consultants that will go into businesses and tell the prospective client what they want to hear. And that really isn't the right way of doing it, is it?
Not really. really, no. Well, no, not at all. You can take the view of it's your money, you can have what you like, or you can take the other view of you're paying me for my expert advice, use it, take it. I'm trying to think, I saw an example of it. Oh, I think it was it was a lawyer, something I was watching recently on Netflix, and there was a lawyer, and his client was arguing back against everything he said, and he said, you know what, go and find somebody else, because all the advice I give you, you ignore. And it's a bit like that in a creative business. Logos is a very touchy subject. It's really hard to get a logo that myself, my designer, and the client agree on. But we generally get there. We generally do get there. But people put too much value and emphasis on their logo. No one really cares about your logo as long as it's not something that was bought off of Fiverr and looks like a Mickey Mouse cartoon. As long as it's a reasonable logo, that's fine. But it's a good example of an area where, people put too much emphasis on things. But, I always say, look, I've hired a design expert with about 30 years experience. She knows better than you that this is a good logo. So listen.
I suppose the problem is a lot of the time is that people will go down that particular route, and because they're so involved in it, they are trying to be jacks of all trades, aren't they? They're trying to be everything. They are trying to be copywriters. They are trying to be logo designers or graphic designers. They're trying to be their IT department. And I think a lot of businesses that are starting, the solopreneurs, the entrepreneurs, they do find themselves in that particular position along the way of actually starting and growing their business. Good.
Definitely.
I'm glad you said yes to that. So what is an utterly seductive proposal? That's the big question. I've even got a slide. Here it is. So talk us through this, Tim.
Okay. Well, ideally, on average, these utterly seductive proposals come out to between 15 or 20 words. We can talk about a phrase that powerfully conveys why your ideal target client should do business with you and only you, over any other choice they have, because it could, people just think they can buy from me or they can buy from somewhere else. Well, the third choice is they don't even have to buy at all. They can put the purchase off to later. So you could also add in there creating a bit of urgency, creating a bit of intrigue. Intrigue's always good because it makes people ask questions. But, creating powerfully why somebody should do business with you, conveying powerfully. And offering a unique solution. Because if you've got a unique solution, then it gets the conversation away from price. Obviously, you don't want to be involved in I can get it over here for a bit less. The same, you don't want to get involved in that. Apple sell laptops for 4 or 5 times the price as Windows machines. And people that have had them know that they're worth it because they're a smoother, more cleaner experience. They don't break down. I'd never buy another Windows laptop. I've got a Windows PC in the office, but as far as a laptop goes, I found all my Windows laptops hopeless and unreliable. And the MacBooks I've had, which I've always bought second-hand, about 3 years old, have been brilliant.
Other PCs and laptops are available, but you're obviously an Apple fan then. Quick question for you that's just popped in. This is from Bipin. He says, Tim, is it worth attending chamber events to network? I mean, I know that's kind of off subject a little bit here, but is it worth going to a chamber event to network, do you reckon?
Yeah, it depends what you've done in the past, Bipin, in terms of networking. I was BNI for 10 years. That's how Antonio and I became friends, through going to a weekly meeting at 6:30 on a Friday every single week. That does build a bond. But networking is great. The best thing I find about networking is it forces you to decide how you're going to articulate your business, your product. Or really what you should be articulating is your problem-solving abilities.
Do you think it's right for all businesses, Tim? Because some business, what you tend to find are the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, and I'm using a very broad brush there, but there are some businesses that you go that it's just not going to work for, is it? I mean, does it work for every business? Is a business sector, or do we get lost in the fact that actually we should remember it's all about networking, and it may not be the person that you are directly discussing or talking to. It could be somebody that they know in the future that could make that big break, that big job for you.
Yeah, we always used to say, it's not who's in the room, it's who they know. But there's different networking groups for different styles. Generally, the Chamber of Commerce and BNI, they are the sort of smaller businesses. So the more corporate your ideal target client, the less likely you are to find that connection at a group like that. But that doesn't mean to say that someone in the room doesn't know somebody. And I think that the more specific you are about what you want, if you ask for a connection in the so-and-so industry, okay, that's better than most people, because most people just say, I can help anybody. Who do you know that has a car? Rather than who do you know that's got a 1990s Ferrari 348 that wants it to, I don't know, that wants to have more value added to it when they come to sell it. Now that immediately makes you think of somebody with a Ferrari. Whereas, who do you know that's got a car? Well, everybody's got a car, so I'm not thinking of anybody.
So it's about being more specific to the actual pain, the needs of the potential people that are around you and you're talking to. Identifying perhaps what the issue is.
Exactly, and I think the other thing as well, you'll know, Steve, is that everyone goes to networking events trying to sell. But really, if you go there trying to help, you're a lot more likely to receive attention on your business and be liked and feel obligated, or people to have an obligation or feeling an obligation to help them back. No one likes somebody that's just there ramming sales messages down their throats. No one likes to be sold to. So it's a long-term thing. I don't think you can go to a Chamber of Commerce event, going back to the original question, expect to come away with a handful of leads. You need to go there every fortnight. I know they're not weekly, every fortnight or month, and keep going and look upon it as a long-term investment and part of your marketing, and expect to pay back. I went to a networking event for a year, and I had one crappy lead the whole time. Some groups are just not set up to be business-like, and that was one of them. Other groups like BNI are set up to be business-like, where the emphasis is on business. But a lot of people don't like the rules, but they're in there because they work. So if you want lazy networking, don't expect to get results. If you want hardcore networking, expect to get results. But it takes a lot of time and effort.
Meanwhile, back at the what is an utterly seductive proposal, we got down as far as point number 3, I think, why your ideal target client should do business with you. Just finish off those 3 final points that are on that particular slide so that we can then move on to actually putting together our seductive proposal.
Yeah, they're not actually bullet points. I know it does look like it. It's a paragraph written in a way that each line is a separate point. So it is in a way, but your ideal target client, you said the last 3 lines. So we want something that's going to make people want to do business with you, which is why we call it seductive. It's the opposite of selling. Seductive is being drawn in. You want something to draw you in. People can decide to buy somewhere else or not even buy at all. So we need to create. Quite often a good question is, what will happen if you don't buy this product? Rather than talking about the good things that will happen, quite often the more dramatic side of what goes on in your head, or more motivating can be negative things. So talking about what won't happen if you don't have this product is a good way as well. But yeah, this is just really trying to find a way to sum up why people should do business with you.
I'll tell you what I found interesting reading the book, because the book to a certain extent kind of echoes that. But reading the book, the thing that struck me about it was the advice that you give is that we all try to be all things to all men. For instance, the opening of this particular program says all the different things we as Business Connections Live actually do, everything from media training all the way through to corporate production. And in fact, that that's where the money is made. That is the core business. But what we're doing is that we are using the same tools to do these different things. So for us, we feel that that's our basket of goods. What you're saying in the book is identify the one thing that you're going to be really, really good for and known for, and then promote the hell out of that, because that by doing that, it will draw people in for your other products as well. Do you think that's a true statement? Is that right, do you think?
Yeah, perfect. That was very well summed up, Steve. I like that because, talking about your introduction, all those services, the more there are, the harder it is to remember. The more there are, the more confused the reader's going to be, or the listener. One message is easy, well, not easy to remember, but one message is easier to remember. So if I've got a load of, say I'm trying to remember 3 or 4 things about your business, Steve, and then I think here's a guy that could be interested. Which point shall I mention first? That or this? And now I'm confused, and now I'm uncertain, and I'm hesitating. And once you hesitate, on an introduction or a referral, when hesitation comes in, every second that passes, it's less likely that recommendation is going to be made, or that referral is going to be made. So having a simple, clear message is going to win every single time.
So should the message, a simple, clear message, does it need to be slightly, dare I say this, obscure in many respects? For instance, with you, what you do, you market companies. You are a marketeer, but you use video, you use the written word, you use brochures, you use networking, you use all those things. So the top line title that you give yourself, what is that? What do you call yourself? What are you? How do you define what you do as a business?
I help people see what they can't see about themselves, their products, and their businesses. As we were saying earlier, getting out of your own business and looking back at it. People never do that. With my USP process that I've developed, a 5-step USP process, that helps people see what they never probably would have seen about their business at all, because they would never take the time to sit down and go through the questions that I ask them. Sometimes I do it with them. Generally, it's done. They answer these questions on their own because I'm asking them to think about their business in a way that they've never thought about it before. It's difficult to do this, but it needs doing, because otherwise you're just going to constantly be saying, we do this and we do that. And if you want some of this and you want some of that, then come and get it. But, make it easy for people. Make it easy for them. So that's it, Steve.
All right, let's look at some of the. I'm going to ask you in a moment what an utterly seductive proposal isn't in just a second. Interesting question coming in from Antonio again. What's your thoughts on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram? Who are they for? How best to use them? Are they being diluted because of the quality of the posts? Now, this is something that both Antonio and myself, we discuss on a regular basis. I think there's a load of guff goes up on LinkedIn at the moment, and it's becoming harder and harder to differentiate and find what is relevant to business, because I couldn't believe it, but I'm beginning to see pussycat videos that come from TikTok going up on LinkedIn. And I think that's going to destroy the platform if we are not careful. People spilling tea into somebody's lap is not helping me or my business. Yes, it may well be very funny, but we've got social media platforms all over the place that we can use for that very content. So do you think we're ruining the platforms at the moment?
I think well, you're right. There's a platform for everything, but this is the thing. You can't control. You can, but then you ruin it. If you start controlling what people post, that's going to stop people posting. I think Instagram is for people that feel entitled to be famous and just want to post photos of themselves drinking coffee on a balcony as the sun goes down on their latest iPhone. LinkedIn used to be very corporate. Maybe it's becoming more casual these days. Facebook, you don't get any reach unless you pay for it.
Does that bother you though? Let's just stick on LinkedIn for a moment. Does that bother you, the fact that it's becoming less corporate and it's taking over what Facebook used to do? Does that matter to you, or would you rather see that for businesses went to LinkedIn, for social you went to Facebook, or do you think that doesn't matter? Am I just making a load of noise, throwing my toys out the pram for all the wrong reasons?
To be totally honest with you, Steve, I don't really care because there's nothing I can do about it. It's a bit like watching the
Good
news.
point.
You get all wound up about the news, but there's nothing you can do about it. So why watch it? So I don't think too much about social media because it's a never-ending maze. It's an abyss of algorithms and all sorts of things, and that side of marketing isn't for me. I don't really want to get into digital stuff too much. I'm more of a traditionalist. I'd rather receive a letter than receive an email off somebody. The message is the message, but who's going to remember? Emails are it's so hard to get your emails opened by people, even if they know you, let alone cold emailing. Email marketing to people that you don't know is virtually a complete waste of time, because who opens emails from people that they don't know about? You don't, I don't.
Yeah.
Direct mail is a much better way. I don't want to get off the subject.
No, it's very interesting because I think that this whole thing about, if you have an utterly seductive proposal, you've actually got to get it in front of somebody's eyes to see it. We used to have an expression in radio: if they don't see you, they won't hear you. And I think to a certain extent that is true within business. Every business in this country suffers from obscurity. You drive onto industrial estates and you will see multinationals sitting there with names you have never heard of. So they too are obscure, except to their direct client or customer base. And I think a lot of small businesses actually do suffer from that. And I think listen, I'm interviewing you, but my feeling is that a lot of people look at social media and they think that is marketing and that's all they need to do. When in fact, what you're saying is letters, postcards, something a little bit different makes you stand out above the noise.
Yeah, the internet's been fantastic in some ways, but it just means there's so many places now to put your message that you haven't got a clue where to put it. And then when you do put it there, there's another million people with their message. It is so hard now to get your message seen. When I started in business, I put an advert in Yellow Pages, one in Bournemouth, Southampton, one in the Southampton directory and one in the Bournemouth directory, because we were quite close on the border. £500 for each, so £1,000 a year in marketing, and I'd get 5, sometimes 7 phone calls a day for people wanting their cars cleaned. And I can't imagine anything that you could spend £1,000 on and get 5 to 7 leads a day, where most of them converted. It was too easy. We didn't realise it at the time, but it was too easy. You had a typewriter, maybe an electronic typewriter and a landline, and you had things printed. And you painted your vans in bright, or I did, painted my vans in bright colours with big logos and big words and phone numbers and things like that. And that was it. Uniforms as well. But now, oh my God, it's so hard to know where to put a message. You talk about social media advertising because you're forced into it because no one is engaging with your normal posts, or if they are, it's friends or people that you know. Trying to get business from social media is hard. I've only ever got business from Twitter. Nothing even close on Facebook. Twitter works for me, but it's getting harder. It is really hard to get your message seen out there. But if you're going to play the game and get involved in posting things, then say something of value. Don't post complete crap, because there's enough people posting Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar quotes, which drives me mad. Or people reposting the news. If I want the news, I'll go to a bloody news channel. I don't want to see it on Facebook, or I don't want to see it any social media site, but you can't get away from it. People post the biggest amount of crap because they sometimes think it's better to post something rather than nothing, which is one of the chapters in my book, Counter Marketing, which is all about when you say things that actually damage you rather than help you. Sometimes it's better to say nothing at all. I look at a lot of people, I see their posts, and I just think, what are you doing? What are you? I'm going to unfollow you. This is rubbish. Why is it's irritating and annoying, and it's just clogging up the internet.
Some interesting comments coming in here. Guy Pearson has just got in touch. Hi, Guy. Great to have you with us on the program today. How can any proposal, the question to you, however seductive, prevent the many time wasters out there, those people that approach you, take your time up and then disappear when you get them to commit? So, answer that then for Guy. He wants to know an answer, Tim.
Right, Guy. The answer to that is to make your message only appeal to a certain type of person. If you appeal to everybody, or if you appeal to it depends on the product, obviously. If you're selling marker pens on eBay, then everybody in business could want a marker pen in their office. But certain products, generally, you should try and narrow it down to a very niche type of person. I say a person because we're dealing with people. Quite often, ideal target client profiles are companies. We say, a company with so many thousand people or with 10 people in this area with this turnover. When I say I'm looking for a guy that likes Formula One, that always has his phone on charge, that likes this and likes that, and he acts in this way, he's proud of his business, he does this type of thing. So I'm doing business with a person. So if you can narrow your marketing down to appeal to a particular type of person, then you don't appeal to everybody. You shouldn't. You should try and you can't stop trying to please everybody. Just try and please a certain type of person, a certain whoever your product can help the most, whoever is prepared to pay for it, who actually values your product, which is probably you look at your top clients, your top 2 or 3 clients. Are there any commonalities? Imagine having 100 clients like that. Well, write marketing for those top clients. Write marketing and create marketing to appeal to those people, because you don't want to appeal to anybody else. That's maybe why you're getting time wasters, because you're appealing to the wrong type of people. So to hell with them, only appeal to the type of people that value what you can do for them.
Guy, you've heard it from him. To hell with them, and appeal to a more specific and targeted audience. Quick question from Linda. She says, what success have you had when it comes to marketing by post? This is right off topic, isn't it? We're just going everywhere now, but what success have you had, Tim?
Marketing by post. I generally market by post to individuals, not on a large scale. So rather than a business card, these are my old business cards. And why should I buy from you? But I've changed my branding. This is my main business card these days. It's much better to walk into a meeting and put a book down on the table than put a business card down on the table. Whether people read it or not, it says a lot more. So I send my book. I have headed paper, which I've designed and spent a while on, because the headed paper is a marketing tool. I use the post on an individual basis, and I use it as part of my sales process. So it might be, if I arrange to come and see you in a week, Linda, I'll always send you something in advance between arranging the meeting and going to the meeting. It's a case of drip feeding the right messages in the right order, in the right way, to create small steps, but in the head, big steps.
Interesting observation here from Bipin. He says we're forced into social media because it impacts on your rankings on Google. I agree. We all have to play the game. So maybe I should just calm down and I should take some advice from Bipin, I think. Don't you?
Yeah, it depends whether you want to be found or whether you want to go and find your customers. If you rely on Google, then you're going to be a lot more likely to need content out there, because after your own website, your own URL, then obviously the social media profiles are going to rank really highly. So they're a great. I always think Twitter's a much better place to find out about somebody than their website, because they have to summarize it in a sentence with a few images and a few posts. Well, not a few posts.
I find that really fascinating. The fact that it's very strange to hear somebody saying that Twitter is the growing platform. It's interesting. We're streaming on Periscope at the moment, which of course means it'll be found on Twitter, and it is very, very interesting. I think all of that at the moment, that it is just that it's a platform that for a lot of people they feel is a bit of a waste of time, but yet you as a marketeer see it as being invaluable.
Sorry, what What social
Twitter.
media?
The Twitter.
Oh,
No, Twitter.
Yeah. Such a long question. I forgot Twitter. There was a word at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, Twitter's good.
Try and stay awake during the interview if you don't mind. That'd be a great help. Thank you. That's it. Have another cup of coffee. Listen, we're going to talk about what is an utterly seductive proposal that it isn't. We must look at that because I think a lot of people will get confused about what their USP is within their organization. And I think sometimes people get completely confused about, be it a presentation or a demo or something like that. They don't seem to realize exactly what it is not. So we're going to highlight that in just a moment's time. Tim, have another cup of coffee. We'll come back and we'll have more of a chat in just a moment. My guest on today's show is Tim Coe. We're talking about having an utterly seductive proposal on today's programs. If you have any questions for Tim, please don't hesitate. Just go on to either LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're watching the program at the moment. Type in the message. We will get them all. We'll give you a name check as well on the program. Tell us a little bit, if you've got a chance, about your business as well, and we'll share that with the audience who are watching the show at the moment and in the future as well, because all the programs can be found on our website at businessconnectionslive.com. We're going to go back a week now, and it's all about change. Are you working in an organization at the moment that is looking to change, to change the way you do things? Are there problems within your company, within your business, that are actually saying to you, we need to change the way we do this? But how do you identify what needs to be changed? And how do you identify if there is truly a problem there, or is it a problem that isn't there that you're making up of your own devices? Justin Rue was on the program last week. It was a cracking show, and we saw some key advice from last week's program. Here's Justin Rue.
Right, my name is Justin Rue. I'm the Managing Director of Shift Actions UK. Shift Actions is a transformation consultancy agency. We're based in Helsinki and in London. And we take companies through change, because opportunity, we say, is a matter of attitude. It might be a challenge, it might be a great opportunity. One way or another, businesses need to stay able to change. Here's the three things. You have got to stay profitable, relevant, and competitive. You've got to stay in the overlap of those three. Sometimes you can move those bubbles and make the industry change. Or sometimes something will force, take COVID for example, something will force one of those bubbles to move. You've got to be able to stay in that sweet spot, because if you don't, you'll die. Those are transformations. Sometimes a customer will say, right, we're going to move what's relevant, we're going to move what's competitive, and we'll help them do that. Other times, those bubbles get moved for them, and we keep them competitive. That's what we do. There's a lot of people who say they can do that. Our very, very disciplined way of looking at these things, and we are military quick about this one. Number one is find the problem. And it's not always obvious. Sometimes you're looking at a symptom of the problem. Is that we dig and dig and dig and dig till you find the real problem worth solving, and have it validated. Make sure you can do that. And while you're doing that, ban the word solution. Keep digging till you find the problem. Be in love with problem till you can validate it. Come up with a hypothesis. This person has a problem with this, it costs them this, a solution might be that. Now move on to solution phase. Design a solution that you can validate, that a customer will say, yes, that's exactly what we were after. If you can come up with that concept and say a solution like this would mean this for this person. Now push that to one side. Now finally model it for your business. Don't start doing that. Don't say, we've got a problem, let's make one of these. Don't do that. Then we go to business modeling. At the end of it, you come up with something that you can say for sure. Here's a problem, here's a solution, here's how it fits your business, customers actually want it, hand it over. Be that methodical about it. Stay relevant, stay competitive, stay profitable. Be utterly disciplined in the way you look at problems. Don't go running into the valley of death. Don't go running after people who say, I know what the new normal is. Garbage. Keep your wits about you. Stay absolutely calm. Dig to find the problems. One of the things I learned early in life is problems hit you, let them hit you. Let them put you on your backside. And when you land with both eyes open. Have a good look at the problem, understand it, then solve it. Don't start with a solution.
Some really good advice there from Mr. Rue. So really enjoyed that. So thank you very much to him as well for joining us on the program. Don't forget, if you want to find out more about Business Connections Live and be on the program, you can always get in touch with us here at Business Connections Live. Dead easy to do. The email address is studio@businessconnectionslive.com. Or if you prefer, you can pick the phone up and give us a call on 01784 256 777. You can also, if you wish, follow our stream of consciousness on Twitter at BCL Business TV, but the best place to go for everything about Business Connections Live, all the services that we provide and how we can support your company, is to just go to our website at businessconnectionslive.com. My guest on today's show is Tim Coe, a fabulous guy. We're giving him a hard time today, actually, and he is coming up with all the right answers at the moment, so it's all good fun. Tim, great to have you on the show. We're talking about the utterly seductive proposal. We've been teasing this forward. What is not a totally, utterly seductive proposal? And we've got this. So tell us a little bit about what's on this slide. Taglines, slogans, sales presentations, and mission statements.
I wanted to clarify that if you just write, we get the job done under your business name, that is not an utterly seductive proposal, because anybody can say that. An utterly seductive proposal is something that no one else can say. You know, it underlines your value, it addresses your ideal target client, and it gives a solution in a unique way. So, you know, just do it. Everyone knows where that comes from.
Yep. Okay. Next slide down. Then it's because you actually say, don't you, in your book, that on the side of builders' vans, I thought that was a really good example. We build extensions, and well, what do you expect a builder to do? You know, hi, we are Builder XYZ. We make fantastic breakfasts. You're dead right. You know, it's about the result of what they do. We put extensions on houses that give you more space. We will turn we'll turn a part of your house into a glorious kitchen. That's what people are buying. They're not actually buying the fact that you can put bricks on top of one another, are they?
No, and you know, it's less like that. What you just said reminds me of when people analyse football. You know, 22 guys chasing a pig's bladder around the pitch, or you know, it's not a pig's bladder these days. But when you analyse certain things, they don't sound very attractive, you know. But the end result of a football match is a sporting event that's like high drama, and you never know what's going to happen, you know. And the outcome is what you're buying, and people need to get beyond what they do and right into the value and the what's the word? The joy that people are going to receive when you have done your job properly for them.
Yep.
So the builder, you know, the joy is of that extension is a room, you know, a new family area space where memories are going to be made for years to come with our family. You know, the Christmases, the family get-togethers on this big table in the kitchen that overlooks the garden, you know, which is going to create a much, much nicer environment for having family get-togethers than this pokey, dark dining room that we've currently got. You know, you're selling them the vision of people sat around there on Christmas Day.
It is aspirational selling. I mean, when I was doing shopping TV, jewelry was the one. It wasn't look at this ring with the 3 diamonds in it and the gallery cut and all the rest of it. It was imagine how you will feel when you walk into a room wearing that ring, and people will realize it because it will sparkle in their eyes. It was the aspirational aspect of it. It wasn't the mechanics of it.
Imagine. See, that's brilliant. Imagine is. I started a workshop off with the word imagine. I've been looking it up on some speeches, and this guy was saying it's one of the most powerful words you can use at the beginning of a speech. But beginning of a speech, beginning of a website, beginning of a sales presentation, beginning of anything that's to do with marketing or selling, using the word imagine, as you've brilliantly done there, Steve, with the diamond thing, is a great word. You know, because it makes people think.
Okay, a bit more reaction coming in. Antonio, once again, you two are a well-known double act. Best plan for most businesses is to go and find your customer, have a clear message USP, and great website, videos, but above all, create your target your target customer list, and have a process mapped out. Some good advice from Antonio. And he does go on to say at the very end of that, by the way, he says, Tim makes your message engaging, interesting, fun, and memorable as well. And I think that's something to remember too, isn't it? The message has got to be memorable. It's got to be interesting, and it's just got to capture that engaging moment. It's got to engage with people.
It's got to stop people. Yeah, we're bombarded. You know, I always remember Brian Tracy talking about preoccupation breakers, which broke my preoccupation with what else I. You know, you've got to break people's preoccupation with what they're doing, which is why email is such a bad marketing tool, because an inbox, depending on the view of the inbox, there's going to be 10 or 20 other subject lines you're competing with. Breaking people's preoccupation or stopping them dead in their tracks with your message is what you're trying to do. You're trying to get them, you know, their headspace from wherever they are to think about you. And that's not easy. That's part of the challenge of marketing. It's really hard to make people do things, which is what you're effectively trying to do. You know, you're trying to put money in your pocket. You're trying to be able to write an invoice. You're trying to charge people for services. You know, most people want to just get into a conversation with somebody that could be right for their product. You know, when I speak to most business owners, they say, if you sit me in front of somebody, three-quarters of the time, I will close that person. So when it comes down to it, people just want conversations with the right type of people. So that's one of my definitions of marketing. It's moving people to a place where they can have conversations with you, moving these prospects. But, you know, it's so hard to get into a position where you can even talk about having a conversation with somebody without it sounding salesy, unless you've been recommended by somebody that you don't know. So the recommendation comes with a bit of trust, and they're gonna give that person, or they're gonna give you a bit of leeway because they recommend the person or they trust the person that's put you together. But it's really hard to get people to stop what they're doing and listen. So the job of the Utterly Seductive proposal is to do that, and you know, we spend a long time coming up with the right words to do it.
Okay, let's go back to what it's not then. We've got to finish this slide off because I want to go through the list where we show some of the things that people can do to entertain, capture their imagination, engage their audience. So we've just finish off this particular slide on the things that what an utterly seductive proposal is not.
Okay, well, tagline, you know, as you say, reinforces your brand and long-term beliefs. It describes your company. You know, slogan, again, slogans and taglines are very similar, but you quite often see them, a slogan or a tagline can be built into a logo. One of the worst types you see are when you have a company name, you know, ABC Technologies, and then you have innovation, speed, excellence. Like, so what? It means absolutely nothing. Anyone could say that, pretty much. You know, and it's saying things that people don't expect, not what they would expect. You know, it's like when hopefully we've got time for the list of things that people shouldn't be saying. You know, there's a lot of things that are obvious, and it's a complete waste of space. The builders thing you were speaking about earlier, builders vans, mostly they put their names on there as big as possible. I don't know why, whether it's some building site competitiveness. You know, my name is bigger than yours on my van. What they're actually doing, the service that they're offering is hardly ever mentioned, and if it is, it's 10% the size. They've got it the wrong way round. You know, plastering, my name is irrelevant, but what I'm doing is what it's all about. And then they generally have a mobile number, 11 digits long, without any breaks in it, which is impossible to remember and write down, or a Gmail address or something, you know. But anyway, you know, they always seem, this is the thing, they always seem really busy. You can't get work, you can't get these guys.
You can't get a builder, and it's so that they don't really need the marketing, do they? That's the thing. You know, Just amazing. Wouldn't it be great if all businesses were like that? And it's very true. Maybe they're the wrong example to be using. Let's just finish this off. Sales presentations and mission statements. Let's get through it quickly.
Okay, well, I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory. I was just, a presentation designed to expand. I'm just talking about what they are really. Mission statements. Again, an utterly seductive proposal is about the product and the end result. The mission statement is about what your business stands for long term. Sales presentations, again, I would have an utterly seductive proposal in my sales presentation, but sales presentation, could be an hour long, whereas utterly seductive proposal could be 10 seconds long.
It's been a funny program today because what we've done, we've actually talked a lot, we've said a lot, and we haven't actually really stayed on track on this one. You are a two-program person, quite obviously. So the next slide that would be very helpful to our viewers, which one would it be? 9 things to never say in your marketing?
Yeah, because we've just been talking about what you should be saying in terms of your product, the end result, and you've mentioned earlier about all the guff on social media. This next slide is what guff I see in marketing. People saying we are the biggest, we are the best, we are the leading, which we touched on earlier. We are number one. And number one for what? Staff turnover, absenteeism. We are the biggest at receiving customer complaints. They never clarify it. They just say it. I did. One of my first businesses, one of my first leaflets, I designed it, or call it designing, right across the top. What was I, 18, 19 years old? Across the top, it was a car balloting business. The first thing I thought of, writing, which is what I said earlier about we revert to a default position when it comes to talking about our products. I said, number one in car balloting. What a load of crap. I hadn't even started. Number one. Who am I trying to kid? Am I trying to fool people? They go, I've got this guy's number one. We're going to call him. They're number one. I didn't say number one. And number one for naivety.
Do you know, it's interesting. It's interesting, Tim, you say this because it's exactly what the banks are doing at the moment, aren't they? They're coming on, and the banks now are positioning themselves as our friends. We're there beside you. No, you're not. You're charging me, what's it, 39% on overdraft fees. You are charging me the maximum you possibly can under the law of the land. And yet you'll go on with your horses and your staff on the television all telling me how you're going to be standing next to me. I'll tell you how you start supporting your customers, Mr. and Mrs. Banks. What you need to do is lower your overdraft fees. That would be a really good start, if you don't mind me saying. And understanding that listen to me, but people are people. It drives me crazy that and you're dead right. I've used some of those. We are the leading. That's what we are. We are the leading. We identify ourselves as we're unique in what we do. We're the leading online business channel. At least we say what we are. We don't say we're the number one, but we say we're one of the leading, because I think number one is a very dangerous place to be. Cheapest is interesting, that anybody should market that they are the cheapest. Surely what you want to be, you want to be the best quality and the most expensive. If you can't afford us, then you're not getting the best.
You want to be the best value.
Yes.
The best value at any price. Everyone and everybody, any business owner that's honest wants to provide value, unless they're a total scam artist. And they're not really in business then, are they? But any honest business owner wants to provide value. And any buyer, we're all buyers as well, all we want is value. I mentioned the laptop earlier. To me, a MacBook at 3 or 4, 5 times the price of a Windows PC is much better value. Because I'm not going to get any shit from this machine. It's just going to run year after year after year with a nice, colourful screen, and it doesn't need restarting anywhere as often as a Windows machine. And we all.
You are a Microsoft hater, aren't you?
I've got a Windows PC right here, so day to day I work on Windows.
Right. Okay.
Nothing. But,
no, I can see what you mean with the laptops. Let's just go back to the slides, Tim, and let's see what else you've put on here. You've got provide the best service. You're dead right. Yes. Now this is a big one. Established in whatever year it was. What's that all about then?
well, God knows. I mean, apart from the legal profession, not many businesses, not many products carry much weight for how long they've been around. You know, if I've got a problem that wants solving, I don't care how long you've been doing it for, and I don't care how old the product is. Sometimes it is relevant. You know, you see on Top Gear sometimes these Dutch car manufacturers, and they come out with this crazy looking car, but it's got so many problems because it's the first car ever. You know, a company that's been making cars for 100 years, they're going to find out the problem. And again, experience in the legal profession obviously speaks for itself, but a lot of other companies, you know, it's just a waste of space. You know, established in XYZ. You know, I don't really care what year you were established in. How does it help me? All these things that they're writing here, or all the things that you write about your business, how does it help somebody? You know, saying we're the leading, we're number one, we're the best, it doesn't help the person reading it. It's just all about you. We. I don't care.
Let's move on to this, because this is the call to action that people don't understand. They don't understand what call to actions are. Call for more details is not really a very powerful call to action, is it?
No, but it's what you see more than any other line used. It's most marketing people. Well, every marketing needs a call to action. Otherwise, what's the point? You want to, as I said before, you want to try and open a conversation with somebody. So you need to have a call to action on the end of every piece of marketing you do. But there's loads of things you can say. You know, call for more details says, ring me up so I can put you under immediate sales pressure. Plus, I'm not, you know, call for more details is only usable about 24% of the time. 76% of the time, your office is closed. Normal office hours, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. 76% of the time, call for more details is not applicable. So if I'm sat in my bed at 2 a.m. on my phone, I need a call to action that I can take action on there and then. So you need a call to action that people can act on 24 hours a day and not even speak to you, but it moves them forward and it's easy. So never say call for more details, because it's weak and it's what everyone else says, and it's not very inviting. It's really saying, here I am, sell to me. Nobody wants to be sold to.
And I kind of teased there because you've given some examples of calls to action. Let's just pick 2 or 3 of them here. I do like the idea of schedule a meeting. Which is your favourite, Sarah, do you think?
Watch and view. I like video. So I like video. So there's that one. I like visit. I put timco.com. Web slide design's privileged to put my own URL there, but visit can send you anywhere. It could just be a YouTube URL, but I don't like showing videos on YouTube, because you can't control the environment people watch your videos in. Put them on your website. So visit can send somebody to one of your pages to do anything. Take a survey, watch a video, engage in XYZ, you know, read something, download something. Visit is a really usable one. Register is good. Register, obviously, though, you need to be selling them on something quite big. Subscribe, again, that's quite a hard one. You need to be offering quite a lot. Get started. I like get started because it makes people think that they're taking action, making some progress, and getting something done. I've got visit on here twice, I've just noticed. But,
it's all down to detail, Tim. That's what it is. Really interesting to see that. And I think to a certain extent, a lot of people don't realize that, and they find, you know, it is a lazy call to action. Here's the telephone number. And I think the problem is that a lot of times we see that on television, on the shopping channels, for instance. Listen to a radio program. Here's what I think. What do you think? Call this number. But for a business, you're dead right, because they could be looking at that particular page at any time. So you just got to think out of the environment that you're in while you're writing it.
It's too big a step, Steve. What you're saying to people is, here's my message, now buy from me. Well, that's, you know, depending on the product or service, you're asking people to go from their initial contact, the initial point of contact with you, to not, well, say buying, but that's a massive jump you're asking them to make. It's difficult, and I'm asking people to think about getting their prospects to take smaller steps, easier steps. Asking you to go and watch a video on my website is much easier. You're far more likely to do that than ring me. People don't ring you and say, I mean, it happens, but most people do not receive phone calls saying, "Hi, you don't know me, but I've just found your website and I'm ringing you." That's very rare. But somebody watching your video, again using the video example, is a lot more likely to want to ring you if they've watched the video than if they haven't watched the video, assuming that they like you, of course. Not everyone can like you. But it's about taking small steps that increase the chances of them wanting to speak to you and making it easy for them. This is why I'm saying, there's a lot more, call for more details is the hardest call to action to take. Because picking up the phone, people are less willing to speak to each other these days. We've got a whole generation of younger people that just want to message and type and WhatsApp and don't really want to speak to you. Especially, imagine saying, "Come and see me face to face." Oh my God, that's way too scary for some people.
What do you mean by these prompts? What's this about?
This is how to think of creating a call to action. So if you're trying to create a call to action, think, how can I help somebody? How can I avoid selling to them? How can I help them? The next point, what can I offer them or say to them to help them make the next step and making it easy for them, which is what I've just been talking about. So if you say to somebody, "Call for more details," that's not very easy. Can you go and watch this video? That's easy. What existing marketing tools do I have that I could give the prospect earlier? So for example, the book, where or whatever you use in your marketing, is there anything that you could introduce earlier and make it part of your call to action? What were the other slides, the other points, Steve? How can I make people feel more comfortable and build trust faster? That's why I like video, because video allows people to see you and hear you, and you can make your points better. Again, a call to action, using the phone number. There's nothing to build trust when you offer a phone number. But if you use something in that list a couple of slides ago, register, subscribe, join, visit, XYZ, it's much easier to build trust.
There they are. Okay, Tim, we're slightly over time. We're going to run for about another 5-10 minutes before we do, or 5 minutes, before we get onto that. What I'm going to do, I've just, because we've kind of talked about so much. We had Graham Wilson on the program a while back, and he was talking about word of mouth marketing as well, which I'm sure you would agree is a very powerful way to market your business. He had some really good key takeaways. I'd love you to listen to them and tell us what your take on those particular key takeaways are. This is Graham Wilson. He was on the program a little while back, and he was talking about word of mouth.
Thank you. I'm Graham Wilson. Today I'm really here on behalf of word of mouth that works. Why? Well, it's important, and please go to our website and have a look, because everybody will tell you, and we all know, that word of mouth is probably the most successful way you can ever promote and grow your business. The problem we've had and we've discussed today is that people think it just happens. People think just talking does it. Well, it doesn't. And we've had over 20 years of working on this and looking at all the evidence. And there is a method, there's a process, a recipe to word of mouth, which is why I have these little chaps here, because you've got to prepare for a marathon. There's a lot of work to do to understand how to make it work for you. But if it does, and it becomes a part of your culture, it's immensely powerful. It will give you not only advocates that talk about your customers that grow, but it also will give you ideas for new products and growth, ideas that you probably wouldn't come across in any other way. So it should become a part of your marketing mix, a part of the way you do business. And we talked earlier about referrals as well, is you need to get that referral right, because if you don't control the message out there, people will make it up. So learn how to control, learn the process, and come and join us. Come and have a look. We'll teach you how to do it.
Some really good advice there from Graham Wilson on a previous edition of Business Connections Live. My guest on today's show, and we are slightly over time at the moment, but it's been such a great show because there's been so much good advice. It's Tim Coe. Tim, still great to have you here. I think we could do this on a regular basis. Perhaps we could get a panel together with the likes of Antonio Falco and Angus Grady and a few others to come on, and we could have a right old moan. I'm going to move on a little bit because there is something that's quite important before you do your sum up, and that's how to follow up without looking like a follow up when it comes to contacting particular clients. So maybe you've got past the stage where you've done that call to action, they've done something reciprocal to you, and now you've got to follow up, or you've got to follow up an email. I think this is probably one of the most important lists, along with all the others that you've produced. This is really valuable information, because these are all the things that will engage an audience, aren't they?
Yeah, they will. And you notice I haven't put phone or email on there because they're obvious. It'd be a waste of 2 points. A bit like we were talking about before. It's a waste of information. It will clog up the slide, like a lot of people are clogging up the internet with stupid posts. So phone and email is not mentioned on there. Group email, which is your newsletter. And what we're trying to say is how can you make contact with somebody and get a conversation going that hopefully they then say to you, I'd like to meet, how do we move this forward? What's it going to look like working with you? How much is this going to cost? Without you having to ask them. I'm trying to create ways for you to remind them, like nudge them. Oi, I'm still here. You haven't got back to me. I want my clients to be thought about by their prospects. So that list is a way for people to contact their prospects and follow up without it looking like follow up. Because most follow up is, hi, I'm just touching base. Yeah.
God, that's me. That is me. That is so me. That's all. Hello there. Just touching base. Make certain everything's okay.
Proposal. I just want to make sure that everything's okay your end. Why the hell wouldn't it be? Well, you're suddenly concerned for their welfare. Greetings card is such a simple and easy way to get in touch with somebody, and it's very unlikely that they're going to do a Gordon Gecko and put it in the shredder. Do you remember that bit? He said, "It's my birthday," as he shreds a birthday card to Bud Fox. But a greetings card, anyone can send a greetings card, and I bet you the guy that receives the greetings card hasn't had one that week or that month in business, or maybe even that year. Forget Christmas or birthday cards, but a business card. And you can get them printed for about £1.50, designed, your own company name, logo, your own message, or blank, or all sorts of, and you can even turn them into a marketing tool. So I would advise anybody to get their own greetings cards printed and turn them into marketing tools, but give advice, give value, but they have a long shelf life. Go back to that email. Emails are gone. If they're even there, then they're gone. A greetings card might hang around in someone's office for a week. I mean, we could talk about each of these things in detail.
I think that is such a good list. If I may be so bold, is it all right if I put that slide on the page on the website? Because I think that's a valuable list to have. I mean, we're not giving away too much, but we're giving away a little something. So if you want that list, go along to Business Connections Live. Just go onto the website, Business Connections Live, and find Tim's program. Just put in Tim Coe in the search, and that'll come up, and that slide will be on the page as well, because I think that is a valuable list, and you should be doing that within your business at the moment. Tim, we're going to talk very briefly about the 24-hour challenge in just a moment, but before we do that, I'd like you to sum up the things that we've learned today in today's program. Please, would you say who you are, where you're from, and the key takeaways from today's program? That would be fantastic. The airwaves, Tim, are all yours.
My name's Tim Coe. I run a marketing business in Lymington, and I help people see what they can't see about their businesses, about their products, and sometimes even about themselves, because they've grown up inside their businesses and they only see it from the inside out. But they need to see it from the outside looking back, the way that their customers, their prospects, and the rest of the world sees their business. And I think the best way to do that is my 5-step USP process. The outcome of a USP process is a 15 or 20 word phrase that powerfully conveys why your ideal target clients should do business with you over any other choice that they've got, or maybe not even buying. And it conveys this value in a unique way, with a unique product. You may be doing things exactly the same as anybody else, but you need to be able to articulate it in such a way that people can remember it. Most people talk about trying to please everybody. You should be trying to talk about trying to please one particular type of client, one particular what's the word? I forgot what the word is. But the utterly seductive proposal is for me, it's the best way to build value, to create rarity value. If you can answer questions as such as, why should I look forward to doing business with you? What have you got that I can't get anywhere else? Why should I buy from you over any other choice that I've got? What do you know that nobody else knows? What are the results going to be of you not buying my product? Or sorry, of people not buying your product? If you can talk about what's going to happen if they don't buy your product, that can quite often be a better motivator than talking about what will happen if people do buy your product. So once you've got a 15 or 20 word phrase, you can then rubber stamp your entire marketing arsenal with this unique way and new way of talking about your business that now creates a lot more value and makes your competitors look mean and obsolete. So that should go at the top of your website. It should go on your business cards. It should be the first thing you say when you stand up at a networking event. It should be what you say when you meet people. People talk about elevator pitches. I can't stand the word pitch. No one likes to be sold to. A lift speech, maybe. But once you've got an utterly seductive proposal, it becomes what you're known for and how people are going to refer you, how they're going to talk about you. It's simple enough that people can remember it. So that's pretty much it. It should go as it should be. Well, we also spoke about calls to action. Every piece of marketing should have a call to action, and that should make it easy for the reader to take the next step. Call for more details is the worst possible call to action. That was a whole list of things we spoke about, the ways that you can use calls to action, but making it easier for people to get in touch with you than asking for them to ring you. We also spoke about, what was the final thing we spoke about? Anyway, we were going to speak about the 24-hour challenge, weren't we, Steve?
Yeah, we were. Well, the 24-hour challenge, we can do that right now.
Okay. Well, the USP 24-hour challenge is my conversation opener. It's my offer to you to allow me to show you what I can do without you having to spend any money. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Let me take all the risk. You don't even need to speak to me. All you need to do is answer 11 questions, and I can give you a brand new way to talk about your business. You never even have to, I'm not going to follow up with you. I'm not going to hassle you or anything like that. Go to timco.com, and it's all visible there. You won't have to trawl through my website to find my offer. My offer is at the front of my website because all I'm trying to do is open a conversation. So that's really what should be on the front of everybody's website. If there's not a headline about what you're going to do, it should be an offer. And every business, I think, should have an offer, which makes your call to action more powerful. If you've got an offer, you've got a really powerful call to action. An offer is a way to get things moving with people. You can give them a bit of value, they're a lot more likely to move forward. You can give something away.
And interestingly, I've Googled it, and I found it, and I've clicked on it, and there it is.
There it is.
And that's where the music was coming from earlier on. It was from your very website. So the 24-hour USB challenge, can we find your utterly seductive proposal in just 24 hours? Find out by clicking here.
You like the music?
I like the music. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, very good. Let's get rid of that. Let's come over here. Tim, it's been an absolute... I'm going to get rid of it now as well. Tim, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the program today. Thank you very much indeed for your time. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been an absolutely fantastic show. Thank you very much to all the people that have been involved on the program as well. Antonio's came back. I mentioned about having a panel. He said your panel idea would be a great idea. Let's get that booked in. Let's do that in the near future. By the end of the month, don't forget the book. There's available now while stocks last. Can it be got on Amazon, by the way?
Yep. A lot cheaper. It's a download on Amazon, but you can buy the hard copy from me.
All right.
But
Listen.
there is there's a free download on my website. Yeah, you can get a PDF of the book from my website.
Okay. Listen, thank you ever so much for being on the program. It's been a fantastic show. I love the slides. As I said, we're going to put that slide that shows the things that you can use when you're going to be following up. There it is again. You can use that. We'll give that. That'll be on the site. Tim, from all the team here, thank you very much indeed for joining us on today's program. It's been a cracker. How long have we run for? We're nearly 1 hour, 18 minutes, which is brilliant. So a nice long show, lots of great information. We're going to be putting some of this information out over the course of the week on LinkedIn and some of the other social media platforms. But to all the people that have been involved, if you've been watching the program, thank you very much indeed. And until we do it all again, have yourself a fantastic week. Don't forget, stay safe out there. Tim, thank you very much. Stay safe out there until we do it all again next week on a Monday, where we're going to be live with another great piece of business advice for you. Stay safe. Look after yourself. Till next week, from me, Steve Highland. Bye for now. Bye-bye.
Business Connections Live, the UK's leading online business channel.